My name is Justin Decloux, and I'm here today with
Will Sloan.
I know everybody listening knows the dulcet tones of the theme from Four Rooms.
I was going to join you in on
Yeah.
I was going to join in on that, but on the way from your living room to the recording studio,
You completely forgot it?
Forgot it, yeah. But we did watch Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, Allison Anders, and Alexander Rockwell's Four Rooms.
Or
today.
as a lot of people tend to remember it, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, and miscellaneous direct Four Rooms.
So this is our special New Year's episode.
Woo!
I'm still kind of on vacation, to be honest. I came woefully underprepared for this episode. I apologize to Justin. I apologize to the listeners. But I have seen Four Rooms.
I mean, is that not enough, dear listener?
Yeah.
That Will had to suffer through maybe the fifth, sixth viewing of Four Rooms?
It's probably my third.
A third? Really? I think I've seen it more times than that.
Can you explain why?
Yeah, when you are a young child in the late 90s, early 2000s, and you're getting into the cinema of Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino.
AKA, you're getting into cinema, okay? You know, you're a young, aspiring...
In the 90s, early 2000s.
You're a young, aspiring film bro in that time. Who are your directors?
Tarantino, Rodriguez.
That's right.
And so you're going to look at the filmography and you're going to be like, okay, Rodriguez Road Racers, the TV movie, a little hard to see. Maybe I'll see it somewhere down the line.
But you know what's at every video store?
Four Rooms.
And you know what's at every bookstore is the script book for Four Rooms.
There was Four Rooms fever. I'm sure you could go to the store and get your Tim Roth action figure, your Antonio Banderas, your Madonna.
So we're talking about this movie because this is a New Year's film.
It takes place on New Year's Eve.
And we thought, what better way to ring out the year and welcome in a new one with this movie.
Which I feel has come up quite a bit because if you are our age, it has a weird place in your like film bro kind of journey, if you will.
Well, and also Quentin Tarantino, a filmmaker who makes a big deal out of his filmography.
Perfect.
Mr. 10 movies and done. Mr. Not a single bad one in there. Asterisk. I think there are some less good ones, personally.
Right. Yep.
But he's... Every interview, you've heard him. He's like, man, I don't want that kid somewhere in the future.
Where'd Will Sloan go?
That's
Tarantino showed up.
That's right, I'm Quentin Tarantino. All right. I don't want that kid somewhere in the future to like reach in a big bag of my movies and pull out the one that's like Land of the Pharaohs, right? I don't want that old out of touch comedy that they make when they're in their 60s, man.
Sorry, Tarantino, you've already failed that one. To which I say, Mr. Tarantino, which is a filmmaker that you know that has a perfect filmography? None of them. And if they did, it would instantly become less interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, name a filmmaker.
John Ford.
Well, you don't watch all those movies.
No, there's tons of stinkers in there.
Yeah. Howard Hawks, perfect example. It's like, well, Howard Hawks is a great example. Tarantino cites Land of the Pharaohs as like one of the bad ones. I like Land of the Pharaohs. People like Land of the Pharaohs.
Tourist. Yes.
Well, that's the thing. It's like there are all these movies like Man's Favorite Sport, Red Line, what's the number?
Yeah, 7,000 or something like that. Yeah.
Those are interesting movies. And if you love the filmmaker, you start to find those interesting. Hell, I love Skidoo. If you put a Countess from Hong Kong in front of me, it's like, there's stuff that's interesting in here if you know the filmmaker.
Now, Robert Rodriguez, early on, like when they're first getting into the scene, he was really pressing Tarantino to do more experimental stuff like this. At one point, Tarantino was going to make one of those Showtime TV movies that Rodriguez did in Road Racers. I believe Tarantino was going to do Rock and Roll All Night, which would have been perfect for him.
Right. So I think this movie's interesting because you think of Tarantino as being this guy with this like Kubrickian pace that he works at, and he only has 10 movies, and they're all perfect.
Wait, Black Hawk Down's on TNT? I gotta stop and watch this again.
But then there are these like odd outliers that he's done, like the episode of ER that he directed.
That's right.
The one scene
Big
from
close-up
Sin
of
City.
feet.
Yeah.
Yes. Wait, what scene did he direct from Sin City again?
The scene where it's Benicio in the car.
Oh, yeah, and the lights are on their faces and stuff like that.
So we were interested in this as an outlier in Tarantino's filmography, as a problematizing force in his perfect filmography.
No, I think I'm more interested in this as where is indie cinema in the early 90s?
Well, yes, and that's the other reason we wanted to talk about it, because you've got Tarantino, a huge brand. You've got Robert Rodriguez, a considerable brand.
Which I don't think people think about that much anymore, unless you're a Battle Angel Alita superfan.
But like those two continued in the popular consciousness in a way that, unfortunately, Allison Anders and Alexander Rockwell didn't, which is not to say they didn't continue working, that they haven't done interesting things since then, but they're not at the party anymore.
No. And so this was spearheaded by Alexander Rockwell, who this was basically like the class of Sundance 1992, except for Rodriguez, whose film played in 1993.
That's right.
Where he said he met Tarantino, he liked him. This would not last if you look into the history of the making of this movie.
But class of 92 at Sundance, this was the year that this is ground zero of the American indie boom of the 90s. Actually, that may not be true. Sex, Lies, and Videotape came out earlier. But in the way it was mythologized at the time, class of 92, you got Reservoir Dogs. You've got In the Soup.
You've got Gas, Food, Lodging.
That's right. You know.
So those are the three filmmakers that are... You know what's funny about the French New Wave? Because that's what they compare themselves to. It's like, we're like the French New Wave. The French New Wave were genuine friends before they started making movies.
That's right.
That did not last forever, but you get that sense watching their films. This is like, ego is so rampant in this area, maybe led perhaps by one of the figures in this movie. That it collapses very quickly.
Turns out it was Alexander Rockwell who conceived Four Rooms. He said to Tarantino when they were hanging out at the Chateau Marmont,
"Oh man, I love you so much."
They were saying, like, we should be like the French New Wave. We should make one of those anthology films that was so popular in Europe in the 60s.
And Richard Linklater was there too. Now, it should be noted, we don't talk about these anthology films. There was a lot of them, though.
The ones from the 60s?
Yeah, the one from the 60s. Like, Godard was in one.
I mean, there are individual ones, like Rogopeg, the one that Pasolini and Godard and Rossellini...
Spirit of the Dead, the one that has the Fellini short in it.
Many of them have individual interesting shorts. And of course, you know, Scorsese, Coppola, and Woody Allen also tried to recreate this magic.
That is a pristine, untouchable short. New York Stories?
New York Stories, yeah. They tried to do something similar with their generation, and every time it happens, the same thing happens, which is that one of them's really good.
Well,
actually, sorry, I said every time.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah, sometimes.
Many times, one of them's really good, one of them's okay, and one of them's terrible, and nobody returns to it.
So I think I saw...
And what if you did one that didn't have any that was good?
So I think I saw Four Rooms, and I was like... I think I like the Robert Rodriguez one. Do I like the Quentin Tarantino one? This is me as a teenager. And I'm like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Man, we're on the same page. Because when I saw this when I was 16, I didn't like any of the first three.
Yeah.
Even the Rodriguez one. And then the Quentin one comes and you're like, well, this...
Oh, he's got the juice.
This feels like one of his movies. Look at the way the camera's moving.
Oh, look at that long take.
The dialogue. It's got all the stuff.
Oh.
Boy, does it ever.
And so for this episode, I thought it was going to be fun if we're going to talk about each segment, and then we're going to talk, you know what? Let's talk about the film the director made before we talk about the segment.
Right. So why don't we begin with Allison Anders, the one who begins the film.
All right. We need to begin with, so this film clearly had two openings, and it was cut down. So there's reports the film was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Which I think at this point they should have just released it at 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Because the 100-minute version that we saw...
is pretty incomprehensible for most of them.
And one of the problems is, okay, if you don't know what Four Rooms is, a movie from 1996 that stars Tim Roth as a bellboy named Ted. And you may think, oh, that's kind of like Jerry Lewis as the bellboy. Well,
Tarantino's going to mention
bookmark
it.
That.
Yeah.
Bookmark that. We're coming back to that. And it's 4 different segments. These 4 filmmakers gave each other a rule. It's got to have Tim Roth as the bellboy, and it has to take place in one room of a hotel on New Year's Eve. And aside from that, anything can go. You can do a comedy, you can do a drama, you can do a thriller, anything you want.
They all did comedies.
Yes.
Which I think is a mistake.
And we watched a little 5-minute making of afterwards from the time where the 4 auteurs are chatting. And I think one of them, maybe it's Tarantino, says, you know, it's interesting. Like we weren't working together, but like they all kind of have the same tone. It fits together as a movie. And unfortunately, he is lying.
Yeah, he is. Through his teeth.
Lying through his teeth. One of the problems of Four Rooms is I think you never quite get your bearings.
Yeah.
You know, we watched the trailer, and the trailer is full of glimpses of scenes that were cut out of the film.
Yes, including the introduction that we do not get in the film, where it's Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, Kathy Griffin's like the manager of the hotel. She's given Tim Roth his keys, and she's like, don't have to worry. It's an easy night. Just keep watch of the place.
Yeah.
That one scene at the
I think it's a little important.
It would have helped.
And so let's talk about Tim Roth in this movie.
Big.
Demented.
Yeah.
Not a comedian. Seems to have read what comedians do in a book of some kind. Never seen any visual evidence. So he's like, okay, so I'm big and twitchy and scary, right?
Yeah.
That's what I have to do.
He starts at 11.
Yes.
And given that all of these films, or most of them at least, are reliant on a sense of escalating chaos, I think it's a problem that he begins.
Yes.
He begins at Jerry Lewis mode.
Yeah, and like at his most demented.
Yeah, and it just keeps going. I mean, he's like Lee Evans in this movie.
Oh, you're insulting poor Lee Evans.
And I kind of
digging him up just to bury him again.
I kind of admire, in a weird way, Tim Roth in this movie.
You know what? When he was off screen, I was like, I wish Tim Roth would come back.
Well, he's just so intense. He's really given it. Like, there is not a shot where he's not mugging.
Except in the Tarantino segment.
That's right.
Where he's suddenly like a weirdly different character. Because you know what? There's already one wild guy on screen and no one else can suck up that energy.
I do think it's interesting that the other three filmmakers he gives the same, even though they claim they did not collaborate, they did not brief each other. I think it's strange that he gives the same extremely manic performance in all three films.
Now, I could not find, there's little segments in between each short, and I couldn't find who directed them. Probably Alexander Rockwell, if he's the one spearheading it. Maybe Rodriguez. It ain't Tarantino.
Doesn't feel like Tarantino, no.
And so the first segment, Allison Anders. Now, have you seen Gas Food Lodging? Very good movie.
I have not. I would love to.
So one of the first that you've seen is My Vida Loca, which was sold as My Crazy Life. But if you look on Letterboxd, it's My Vida Loca. And this film, very Pulp Fiction-like in its structure, which follows like a dozen different characters that are living in Los Angeles. And it's basically all about these Hispanic characters living in this Hispanic neighborhood.
Their lives and loves as they evolve. Many of them are involved in sort of gangland communities.
And these are mostly non-actors that are in these roles. And I'm glad that a Hispanic filmmaker, and let me just look up Allison Anders' background as I take a big drink. No.
Well, yeah, I hear that, but also it's like looking at the films that these filmmakers are making right before Four Rooms.
These are swings following their breakouts.
Well, absolutely. And the fact that Mi Vida Loca, which is better than Alexander Rockwell's Somebody to Love, but both of those movies, I have sympathy for them. I feel kind of sad that they didn't work out because, who did work out? Like Tarantino and Rodriguez. And obviously those are two very talented filmmakers, but like America chose the fun ones.
Yes, the genre ones.
Yeah.
Well, I actually really like My Vida Loca. I thought that it was ambitious in its storytelling, the way that even from the beginning, it switches narrator one after the other after the other.
Well, these two filmmakers, Rockwell and Anders, I think are trying to, they're going for truth, and they're trying to show you something of like the lives that you don't see in film that often. They're trying to show underrepresented people in communities. They're kind of like what Sundance was before Tarantino came along.
Yes, that's true. And these are the kind of films that it's not difficult to understand why it did not break through in the way that, Tarantino and Rodriguez did. I thought this movie was very moving, and thinking of this within the context of the early 90s cinema, nobody is doing this that gets any kind of distribution on this scale. So from there, we don't want to focus on their careers too much. I just want to talk about the movies and kind of touch upon them. My Vida Loca is one as well that I feel like a lot of people are discovering. Just looking at Letterboxd here, I see Elizabeth Purcell, 4 stars, Dan Gorman, 4 stars, me, 4 stars. So we're behind it. This is the kind of film that is prime for Criterion to jump on it and give it a proper release. Even though that I heard that Allison Anders screened a 35mm print of it, and she said she had to buy it off eBay.
Wow.
That's how difficult it is to get maybe the distribution rights are really complicated in some manner.
I initially didn't see the commonality or the connection between Ma Vida Loca and the missing ingredient, her first segment. But I guess it comes in the focus on women and their communities.
Yeah. So the film begins with a coven of witches that are arriving, filled with, I would say, women actors.
That's right. You got Madonna, you got Lily Taylor, you got Ione Skye, topless for most of it. Kind of surprisingly, I have to say, it's a bit jarring at the start of the film.
Will was like, I can't look when I'm sitting with somebody else and looking at topless women.
It's Justin, could you look in the other direction for the next 1.5 minutes, please?
And so the premise is, this was the one that was edited without Anders' involvement. She said she completely disconnected when she learned that this happened, and it is pretty incomprehensible. I can't really imagine what the short would have been if it had the extra part, because there's not much there.
I know. So yeah, it's a coven of witches. They're doing this ritual around a big vat of a cauldron.
A cauldron. That thing that witches do.
A witch's cauldron.
We've been partying since December 25th.
They all have got semen from some hapless fellow, except for Ione Skye, who, through complications that I will leave for you to discover, didn't get the semen.
So she has to get Tim Roth in there, and she has to have sex with him.
And she does.
And that's it. And then at the end, a woman rises out of the cauldron. Me and Will went, who is that? Is that supposed to be someone? Like, it's supposed to be a big punchline.
It's very, like, first of all, it's bafflingly unfunny.
Yes. There's no jokes
It's
in this.
unfunny in a way where you're kind of like, what was she going for?
And, like, Tim Roth is barely in it as well.
Well,
like,
and this is why starting the movie with this segment, I think, was a huge mistake. Because, like, you need some time to acclimate yourself to Tim Roth as the character.
I feel maybe that introductory scene would have done it with Kathy Griffin where he's getting the details and stuff.
And also just beginning with this supernatural segment where, like, we haven't even really established
a reality.
The rules of the hotel for this to subvert. So it's very strange. I mean, I want to give Alison Andrus the benefit of the doubt that this was butchered. You know, maybe it made sense.
Well, if you look at like the feature film she made before this, it is very complex structurally.
Yeah.
That if you removed a piece, it could collapse. So maybe that was present. Like all the witches seem to have a story in this one. Like there's a woman at the end who's like, I want to be a witch too. And you're like, huh? Where did this come from? I don't understand. So unfortunately, the weakest out of all of them, no contest. And it starts the movie leaving like a sour taste in your mouth where you're like, is this what the rest of the film is going to be?
Now, fortunately, the movie recovers. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But the next one, The Wrong Man by Alexander Rockwell.
Now, I will say this. Alexander Rockwell, he's sweating in the short. It starts with a lot of style.
Well, for the first, I want to say 5 seconds of this short, I was like, okay, here we go.
Yes.
You know, because he's got film noir lighting, you know. And
There's a bunch of wacky camera angles and sound effects and slow motion and surreal touches.
But basically, he walks in on a sort of bitter moon couple, for want of a better phrase. You know, a couple who are playing this strange sexual game with each other where they're accusing each other of cheating. The man's got the woman tied up, bound and gagged. And Tim Roth is recruited sort of against his will to be the third in this bizarre game of cat and mouse they're playing between each other.
Yeah, it's David Proval and Jessica Biel. Tim Roth. He is so wacky in this.
Well, yeah, because the other two I think are okay.
You can't call me Theo. Nobody calls me Theo.
He's like that 30 seconds into this.
Yes.
And the problem is, so I actually think there's more than one problem here, believe it or not. But one big problem is there has to be a sense of escalating tension.
There's no sense of escalating tension.
Like it begins at this fever pitch and it just kind of plateaus. And that applies to
it
Tim
ended
Roth's.
and I turned to Will and I was like, is it over?
It's crazy, anticlimactic. And also like the things they do to each other, it doesn't sort of build an absurdity. I mean, the Rodriguez segment isn't that great either. The absurdity
It builds a little bit.
build.
Yeah. All right. We actually skipped through the structure I was supposed to do of this, which is we got to talk about the movie that came out before this. Somebody to Love.
And now this, unlike Mi Vida Loca, has really no reappraisal.
No.
Deservedly so. It's not that great. Although I'm glad I watched it.
I think it's interesting as a kind of the people that are not invited to the party of the indie wave that is happening in the early 90s all got together to make this movie.
I mean, it's an incredible cast. It stars Rosie Perez as a woman from Brooklyn who goes to Los Angeles to become an actress. Failing one audition after another. Not that she's failing. She's being rejected from one audition after another. She also has a complicated personal life where she's having an affair with Harvey Keitel.
Hey, are you making an indie film in the 90s? You legally have to have Harvey Keitel in it.
And he has to either show his penis or he has to be in tiny little briefs.
Yeah,
like
and he's a sex machine of some sort. It's in his contract.
That's right. There's also another suitor for her affections, Ernesto, a Latin kid who's caught up in a mob ring run by Anthony Quinn.
Well, we're talking about the lack of escalation in the short. This is the same problem in this movie, too. It's just kind of a flat line throughout.
Yeah, which is, well, I was kind of surprised that in the last third it gets so tragic because
but you basically get the same event twice back to back, which is someone she's getting close to that opportunity seemed to present it to himself out of her control, they die, and it happens back to back.
Yeah, and I guess like tonally I think it never quite establishes the wavelength it's supposed to be on. You know, this movie was dedicated to Fellini.
It was.
Yeah, and it's
not wacky enough,
and it's inspired by Knights of Cabiria. And I don't think of the ways that
yeah, that's why it ends the way that it does, which is very like Knights of Cabiria coded.
And like it doesn't have like the way that the tone of Fellini's movies was so like textured.
Well, I feel like this is so grim the entire way through. And because of that, it's very similar in kind of plot to In the Soup, which was Alexander Rockwell's like big breakout film. And that one is, really centered in the kind of relationship between Steve Buscemi and Seymour Cassel. And so there's like an emotional core there and a goal that they're going towards, which is Steve Buscemi is kind of like a washed-up screenwriter who thinks he will suddenly have an opportunity thanks to Seymour Cassel. So it's a similar plot, but while there is a little bit of hope and a little bit of moving forward, in Somebody to Love, it's just like, there's no hope. This is like the rock bottom of living in Hollywood, which all of these movies and Four Rooms are about. They're about like, we are in the LA experience. What is that like?
Yeah, and I mean, it's too bad because like I feel affection for this movie. I like what it's going for, and I love the cast. I mean, Rosie Perez, it's really nice to see a Rosie Perez vehicle. The supporting cast is like Steve Buscemi as the cross-dresser. Samuel Fuller shows up for one scene and I think kills it.
Samuel Fuller, who seemed to have his dance card full with acting roles around this time. They could not get enough of Fuller.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Return to Salem's Lot.
Weekend that he shows up in as well, the Godard film.
Yeah, 30 years before this.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah.
You know what? He kind of looks the same, though.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And so, you know what? Nice swing, Alexander Rockwell. It's a shame that it's a miss.
I did not revisit Desperado.
I did.
This. And you know, want something? I knew I didn't have to because I knew I could just shamefully pass the puck over to you for Desperado.
So Desperado is one that I always expect to go revisit and be like, ugh, what did I see there with this one? You know what? Still works. It's a mess, but it's the mess of somebody who has been wanting to make this kind of movie for so long that like you can feel it on screen. And like the energy, the transposition of like Hong Kong, just kind of goofy Sam Raimi-isms within the context of like this Mexican action film with a Hollywood budget rules. Antonio Banderas, something that you tend to forget when you watch Desperado is the way that the advertising portrays him. It's like the cool guy. You know that VHS cover, or probably the poster too? He has like the gun up and he looks all sexy with his long hair. In the film, he's a huge goofball.
Yeah.
Like the point of the film, it starts with Steve Buscemi telling a story of like, he's the biggest badass in the world, he's the best, when the whole film is kind of a deconstruction of that. It's like, no, he's kind of like fumbling his way through it. Very charming and charismatic in a way that like people think of Chow Yun-fat as like, he's the coolest guy in the world. The reason you like Chow Yun-fat is that he's also a big goofball in stuff like Hard Boiled. Is that he can vacillate between both modes, but then when you do something like Replacement Killers, that's kind of just cool. So it's hollow in the way that it's presented. And Rodriguez gets that in Desperado.
I like the scene at the end of Once a Thief when Chow Yun-fat is doing household chores in sped up comedy style.
Yep. I thought you were going to say the untimely joke involving a handful of aces.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Sorry, I haven't seen Once a Thief in 20 years.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, where you go. You got so many aces, you must have...
Oh.
Yes. A Wong Jing joke, if you will,
Aye.
in a John Woo film.
Well,
and
it was a different time.
Desperado, I think it has that messy energy. I really enjoy it. Something that, I mean, honestly, Rodriguez was never really able to capture, in my opinion. Will asked, did we do a Rodriguez episode? I was like, yeah, we did like 200 episodes ago. And he's like, I don't remember any of that.
We're getting to the point. So we've been doing this for 10 years now. And hey, we'll have to do our 10th anniversary episode at some point.
Yeah. What will that be? Who knows?
We should have saved our Leonard Maltin interview for the 10th anniversary episode.
But we can't guarantee that we're going to get a Leonard Maltin interview for that. So
maybe we could.
Yeah, we'll see.
Back. Yeah.
So you can see in Desperado the energy that is kind of messy and misguided in Rodriguez's four-room short. Like there's so many things that if somebody had given it a second pass, could have been like, hey, if you just do this and this, I think it'll work better because the bones of it are okay. So this is called The Misbehaviors. The gimmick is Antonio Banderas wants to have a, New Year's Eve with his wife.
And he's Antonio Banderas. He's got the pencil mustache. He's got a
hair slick back.
Tuxedo.
Yeah.
He's got the wife. When they go into the elevator, he like
swoons her and gives her a kiss.
Yeah.
Behave.
And he leaves the kids behind for Tim Roth, the bellboy, to watch over.
Yes.
And the kids, true to the title, are misbehaviors. They're getting into stuff. They've got the nudie channel on. They've got the champagne open.
And the issue with this is a very simple structure. They misbehave. Tim Roth should run in, put the situation down, run back out, and it keeps escalating every time he goes back to the room. Weirdly, this short is mostly about the kids doing stuff.
Well, Tim Roth basically stays on the ground floor for
most of the short, yeah.
So it kind of trudges along.
Yes,
like,
you're just watching kids do stuff.
This is a farce,
yeah.
and it doesn't.
Not enough slamming doors. That's the issue.
Doesn't build intention. It's just them doing like a series of like slightly naughty things until in the last 2 minutes, Tim Roth comes back up, and Tim Roth he's way past 11. He's at 17.
Here's the thing. The last minute of the short is very funny.
Yeah.
But it would be funnier if it had built up to that point where it's like the kids do something, Tim Roth comes in, he fixes it. Oh no, he has to run back down to do something. They do something worse. He has to go back up, and it escalates and escalates and escalates. And instead it's just like he puts him to bed, and then he goes back down, and then they call back, and he's like, shut up! And I was like, how did he get to this point?
That's right, yeah.
And that's what that short is. So, like, it cuts really well into a trailer. Because we watched a trailer for 4 Rooms. That's a movie I want to see. Looks like a bunch of wacky stuff.
A lot of great trailer moments from this Rodriguez segment specifically. But yeah, watching this, I thought, I wish they'd butchered Rodriguez this a little bit more.
Just like speed it up a little bit.
It looks like we're watching the assembly cut.
It does, yes.
It's too bad because there are good moments in it.
Yeah, if it was shorter and it escalated a little bit faster, I think it could have worked.
But, we had to make room for the big kahuna. Actually, before we get to
that, there is a, like, intermission segment where Tim Roth gets on the phone, speaks to Marissa Tomei, and synopsizes the whole movie. And it's like, we watched it.
And you're wondering, why is Marissa Tomei here? Well, she's at a low-key New Year's party with Kathy Griffin.
Yes.
The manager of the hotel.
Who we have not met in the release version
cut
of the
out
movie.
of the film.
Yes.
So there's this scene that is just a buffer. We're all laughed out from the Rodriguez segment, right?
Yeah.
So this is like at a stand-up show when the MC comes on to kind of like give you some time to cool down.
Oh, he gives us time to cool down even though Tim Roth is screaming at the top of his lungs into the phone.
There was a cauldron of witches.
Yeah.
An
oven of witches. Sorry, we saw that segment 10 times because we also watched a making of and showed the trailer.
Yeah, so this segment's especially exasperating because he runs through the events of the film twice. First to Marissa Tomei, then to Kathy Griffin.
That's a very Quentin Tarantino move.
And it's like, come on.
Yeah. Like, you cut so much and you got to keep this?
All right, it's 1996. Quentin Tarantino is on top of the world. He's the voice of a generation. He's hosting SNL. Okay?
Wait, have you watched the Quentin Tarantino hosted SNL episode?
I've seen bits of it. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't done the full 90 minutes?
If somebody has the file, I would watch it.
Is that because, like, Steven Seagal, that's all over, like, the internet. Where's the Tarantino one? How many segments does he appear in?
Well, I think
does he play Elvis?
What I remember is in the monologue, he, like, dances and sings.
So like a real Seth MacFarlane, if you will.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get to the Quentin Tarantino segment, or as Tarantino liked to call, the one people have been waiting for.
Yeah. The other directors loved that.
Yeah, they love that. I believe Harvey Weinstein said, like, this film, it's 2 great directors and 2 hacks directing it. Yeah, I wonder who the other 2 could be.
It goes to show you his wretched taste, this man. This man who ruled the independent landscape for 20 years.
Yeah.
So he'll be dead soon, and that's good.
In jail, where he belongs. So let's get to this Tarantino segment, which as teenagers, we're like, yeah, that was good, right?
And I think to have that feeling, it's all...
This is pure uncut Tarantino.
The ego.
Yes.
Well, so remember, Pulp Fiction has come out. Tarantino has changed. He's changed cinema.
I watched Pulp Fiction again. You know what I gotta say? Great movie. Works. Godlike performance from everyone. I'm not coming in here with a contrarian take on Pulp Fiction.
Okay, because with Pulp Fiction, and I'm curious what you think of this, I have developed such a distaste for Tarantino as a person that when I see Pulp Fiction, I would never say he's not talented.
Yes.
He's very talented.
It's so good, though.
Like,
and
I hear his fucking voice,
and but it's just the actors in it. John Travolta giving a godlike performance. Pulp Fiction, when I was a teenager, was never my favorite Tarantino. I thought, even then watching it, I was like, I am so, oversaturated in pop culture from what Pulp Fiction has wrought. I'd rather watch Plump Fiction than Pulp Fiction again, the classic parody film based on Pulp Fiction.
Let's watch Mad Dog Time. Let's watch Frogs for Snakes. Let's watch
10 Things to Do in Denver.
Suicide Kings.
God.
And finally...
Sorry, you're reminding me here. Add that other one to the list if it somehow dropped down. Tarantino exploitation.
Oh, I can't wait.
Did you say, what is it?
2 Days in the Valley.
2 Days in the Valley. There you go.
And of course, the one that rose above them all, the Boondock Saints.
I guess that is Tarantino's flight. That's real late in the game.
Well,
though.
and also like Harvey Weinstein basically...
You're the next Quentin Tarantino.
Picked the guy out of the bar, and I think the story was maybe more complicated than that, but,
All right, so here Tarantino's doing his own thing. If people haven't seen 4 Rooms, you need to understand, this short stars Quentin Tarantino.
This short. It felt longer than Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh, wait. I jumped off Pulp Fiction. Yeah, very good. I think that the performances of the people, and I haven't seen it in probably 10 years, like, when I thought about it, I was like, it's going to be so ingrained in me that I will know every scene. And you know what? I still enjoyed it in a way that I did not enjoy Kill Bill.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, when you do see something after a long time, those scenes, they pop in a new way because, like, you remember what happens in the scenes, but you don't remember John Travolta's voice.
Yes, or whatever, like, look that he gives.
Yeah, there are a million things you forget. Yeah, it's funny. We were watching Kill Bill a few weeks ago, and when David Carradine gives that Superman speech.
Awful
which
speech.
is one of Tarantino's worst scenes.
But I like to see Carradine act.
Carradine, I think, almost pulls it off.
Yeah.
And then, I think how bad this dialogue could be if Tarantino himself were delivering it. Well, you don't have to think.
Because we got a little segment in 4 rooms to deliver. So now I want to take a step back.
Okay.
And let's talk about Quentin Tarantino, the actor. He's a guy that he wanted to be an actor. That's why he came to Hollywood. That's what he wanted to do.
He was on The Golden Girls.
Yeah, playing an Elvis impersonator. And it's not like he did not get his chance to be an actor in the 90s.
He was in movie after movie. I mean, from Dusk Till Dawn.
Me and you, George Clooney, we could be brothers.
I need to see that again. George Clooney, I saw that interview where he's making fun of Tarantino, and it's like, this is when I like Clooney the most, when he's mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
As opposed to nice man.
That's supposed to like, our democracy is under threat. Like, shut up. I want to hear you be mean.
You got to be meaner. He's like, and now let me go back to performing Good Night and Good Luck for $500 ticket buyers on Broadway. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Good night and good luck is what he would say.
So yeah, he wants to be an actor.
Yes.
And after Pulp Fiction, it's like, all right, I've changed the world, and now I'm going to focus on my acting. So he gets Destiny Turns on the Radio. He gets From Dusk Till Dawn. He gets Sleep With Me. I mean,
does he have a big role? I don't remember.
No, he just has that one scene where he's doing the Top Gun speech.
Oh, we forgot Somebody to Love.
Oh my God, did we ever? He's the bartender.
Yeah.
And the movie does not make a big point of him.
No, it's kind of a long tracking shot.
And he's at the bar, and unfortunately, he sticks out like a sore thumb. In this movie
Do you think somebody would describe Tarantino as a sore thumb?
Yeah, this movie full of great actors.
Yes.
Somebody
to Love.
Yeah,
and then Tarantino right in the center of it.
Yeah.
Ugh. In the segment of 4 Rooms. I'm describing this to people. If you have not seen this movie, I want to be clear. I don't want you to watch it. It's not worth watching.
No.
You will get nothing out of it.
This is a rite of passage.
You dare.
I'm not saying they should. What I'm saying is it's a rite of passage. Everybody who cares about movies sees this movie.
Yeah,
eventually.
only if it's the late 90s or early 2000s. The year is 2026.
You know what? You're right. Everybody of our generation sees this.
But now, you guys have it so much better. You can watch the films that inspired Kill Bill. You don't need to get it secondhand.
You can watch anything you want, actually.
Yes.
You can watch
great stuff.
If you know where to look, you can download Fassbender's entire filmography and just watch it. You don't have to watch. You can watch every name a filmmaker.
You don't need to watch 4 Rooms. We're doing it for you because you like to see us suffer.
But I think if they're listening to this podcast, they will, because the people who are listening to this are the types of people who, if they've not already seen 4 Rooms 3 times,
they're probably gonna wander into that.
I don't want to overgeneralize, but I think a lot of you listening have seen 4 Rooms, and not for the last time.
If you're clicking on this, you're clicking on it because you're like, 4 Rooms.
Yeah.
So
we meet again.
Emily, before the movie started, was like, I like 4 Rooms. This segment was playing, and she's like, what the hell is this? What is the point of this?
So Ted the Bellhop goes up to the executive suite.
Now, Ted the Bellhop seems to have taken a tranquilizer in between the first 3 segments and this one.
The door opens. A woman answers it. There's a big buildup. The Man from Hollywood is here. That's what it's called. The Man from Hollywood. His name is Chester. He's played by Mr. Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
It's a POV shot now from Ted's POV.
With the door opens, and it's a woman from the second segment.
Chester, played by Quentin, comes up to the camera.
And
he's
he looks
talking at you.
Right into the lens.
His piercing eyes, his big fucking face. Filling up the screen. How far can we get into being mean about people's physical appearance?
I don't want to do that. He has kind of dead eyes when he's looking right into the camera. Like, he doesn't know quite where to look.
To say nothing of his chin. No, it's just...
You couldn't help it.
No, I'm sorry. Listen, I don't like him, so it's fine.
At one point, somebody makes fun of his appearance, and he seems to take it personally, like it was done as an improv in the short. He's like, what did he say? Anyway, Tarantino, according to Alexander Rockwell, who's talked about this movie, playing who he was during the making of this film.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Top of the world. He
Yeah.
directed a film called The Wacky Detective.
and how much did it make? $72.1
Yeah.
million.
That is fucking asses in fucking seats.
Yes.
Bruce Willis is there as well.
Uncredited.
Who does he play?
He just plays a guy.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
He's part of the entourage.
Yeah.
And this segment, which lasts about a month, the first 2 weeks of it that you're watching it is spent listening to him prattle on, have these long monologues, often these long single
Uncut takes, yeah.
And then finally, maybe 2/3 of the way in, we get around to what the actual meat of this is.
And he saw on television an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents,
Right.
which is based on a Roald Dahl story, where a guy challenges other people that if I can light my lighter 10 times in a row, or them, I don't remember exactly the details, I win your car. If you can't, I chop off your finger.
And so they want to put Ted the Bellboy up. He's going to hold the hatchet, and if the guy can't light
The lighter 10 times in a row, he's going to cut off the finger. Now, to get there, it's that swervy Tarantino reiterating what we've already heard
over and over
Is it
again.
just because it's coming from Tarantino?
I don't think
If this was
is
like Samuel Jackson delivering this dialogue.
well, it would be better.
Yes.
It would definitely be better, but I don't think any of this dialogue is top
Good.
tier.
Yes.
Like when he goes off on the riff about Jerry Lewis, it's like, is there
Have you seen The Bellboy?
something clever in there?
No, there's no kind of...
It's just a reference.
Yeah. Some would say that's an issue with his later cinema. And I'm going to say right now, like Tarantino was catching strays when we were young. Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown. People were like, he just built it off the back of other stuff. To which I say, even if he's ripping other stuff in those early movies, he's doing his own thing with them.
That's
it's not
true.
the plot of City on Fire that made City on Fire successful, because hundreds of movies have done that. Reservoir Dogs is his own thing, whether he steals direct shots or not.
If I saw Reservoir Dogs and then 2 weeks later I saw City on Fire, I don't think I would
associate
I don't
both
think
of
it
them.
would consciously register with me.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with Pulp Fiction. Is he taking direct segments from other stuff? Yes, probably. Doesn't really matter because of the structure. You know, it's kind of like, oh man, I love paprika. Hey, I made something with paprika too. Yeah, but I mixed it in with all this other stuff. That's what makes it good.
Did you hear when Tarantino gave that cursed interview to Bret Easton Ellis? He was talking about
Cursed interview.
He was talking about Battle Royale, and he was saying, when the Hunger Games came out, all these stupid book critics said how original it was. They had never seen Battle Royale. They didn't realize she just ripped it off. And I thought, whoa, buddy, you better hold your horses on that.
When Hunger Games came out, everyone knew what Battle Royale was. This was not like some underground film.
That's because, he's the man from Hollywood. He's living in that penthouse suite now. He's not really on the ground.
So do you think he does this like every night, like giving these long monologues to people who can't really respond?
Yeah, I absolutely think he does.
Walking around his home in Tel Aviv.
Who are on the payroll, yeah.
Yeah. Can I cut off your finger? So what's interesting about this short, it's not Tarantino's finger that's on the line. I think that would have been more funny.
Yeah.
If he was doing it.
I agree. It's one of his helpers.
Underlings, yeah. So, and that's clear.
Because he needs a comeuppance.
Yes,
right?
he does. The whole thing seems to be leading to Tarantino's comeuppance. Instead, it's just some guy.
That's
what's in the
right.
context of the short. And I don't think he would ever understand that. And no one can talk him out of it either.
Well, because...
He has no sense of humor about himself.
Exactly, yeah. And it's why all the characters in his movies are badasses.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't like weakness.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing somewhere that like he was angry that The Simpsons parodied him on Itchy and Scratchy. Like, remember that lame joke?
Well, did you ever hear that when he used to date Mira Sorvino, and when she was on the David Letterman show, he did a riff about like, you're dating that video store employee, that Weasley, that mousy guy. And then apparently, according to Letterman, Tarantino called him up the next day and was like, I'm coming to New York. I'm going to kick your fucking ass.
Really?
I'm going to beat the shit out of you, you motherfucker. He was like
said that to David Letterman?
Yeah, he did. Like, I'm not overstating what he said to him.
I could just imagine Letterman like smiling like a hyena.
I mean, when you look up the clip of Letterman telling this story,
does he tell it on his show, or does he?
He tells it somewhere.
Okay,
and he's very funny talking about it. He's like, well, Quentin, how do you want to kill me? Should I give you a baseball bat? Like,
that's so funny. And then Letterman laughs, hangs up, and goes and continues the affair with one of the interns that is working at his show.
Everybody's flawed.
So Tarantino, not much of a sense of humor about himself, and I think that's one of the main issues. Like, he's talking about like, who opened this bubbly of Cristal? Who opened this?
Well, what's aggravating about it is you're seeing him as this character like completely just waving his dick around, not literally, thankfully,
but
waving his dick around, and you're thinking this guy is such a boob, and then you slowly realize, No, he thinks he's cool.
Yeah, he thinks he's cool.
Yeah.
That's like the point of, well, not the point of the segment, but like the backbone of
And
it.
actually, that's why he's never been a good actor. I think because he knows a lot about acting, he studied acting, but he doesn't have the self-effacing quality or the willingness to risk embarrassment that a good actor has, you know?
Maybe the only time he's been low on the totem pole would be in something like Pulp Fiction, where he is scared of his wife coming. But even in that scene, he's trying to be big dogging Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson.
I mean, Samuel L. Jackson in that movie, who is the alpha dog in every other scene.
He's like, oh, whatever you say, Mr. Tarantino.
A white man comes in and tells about the dead African-American storage. Yes.
Why did you bring a dead African-American into my driveway?
Yes. Does it look like I have a dead racialized person sign on my lawn? Yeah. You know.
So, Mr. Tarantino, I hope you're listening and you will take some notes. To maybe have a little bit more self-effacing qualities.
Yeah.
In your future.
And also, what's happening in Gaza is horrible.
Remember when, you know what if he hears it and he's like, you know what? I've never heard it within the context of talking about movies and my own performances. I'm going to reevaluate my life. Oh, we didn't mention that Lawrence Bender, who was Tarantino's #1 guy during this period, shows up, acts in this movie as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is Lawrence Bender up to?
He's in the Israeli film industry now.
He's a proud Zionist.
He calls himself an October 8th Zionist, which makes me go, ugh.
Ugh.
Anyway.
So getting back to Tarantino in the short and the punchline of the short, which is pretty funny.
It is funny.
But man, the road I had, the mountain I had to climb to get to the peak, and they give me a tiny caramel when I get there.
And then Tim Roth walks off.
Yeah,
and the credits
doffs
roll.
his cap, and the audience jumps to their feet and they're applauding.
And you're thinking, I can't wait to see Ted the Bellhop again in his many further adventures.
So to take a step back from this rich tapestry we've shown you, issues with this film: Ted the Bellhop not grounded in anything. Like, you don't know who he is, you don't know his goals. His performance is all over the place, always cranked up to 11.
Well, what I would say is, so in The Bellboy, a Touchstone film, Jerry doesn't talk. He's a non-character.
But he's wacky.
He is wacky, but he's a non-character. Everyone else projects everything onto him, and it works. You know? You follow that character through that film. The Bellboy does something kind of similar to The Man from Hollywood, where Jerry then appears in a dual role as himself. So he's the Man from Hollywood, basically, to Ted the Bellboy.
So should have been
and
like
he's
Tim
an asshole.
Yeah, it's Tim Roth playing the Tarantino role.
I guess what I'm saying is Jerry did the meta-textual elements much better.
And, you know, for younger listeners, what we're talking about is Brendan Fraser in Looney Tunes Back to Action, where the stuntman character meets the real Brendan Fraser.
That's a great scene.
Yeah. Remember those sad articles that were coming out? And Brendan Fraser was like, that was me actually facing myself. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Makes you think. Just like Four Rooms, a film that, what's that? I'm throwing the negative into the incinerator so no one has to watch it ever again. No. It'll go down historically as a monument that people will walk by and watch in horror, not understanding where it came from and why it exists.
There are just some of those movies like Twilight Zone, the movie, where it's there, it's eternal. Nobody really likes it.
Twilight Zone at least has 2 really good segments in the back half.
You know, Twilight Zone is quite a bit like this one, where the first 2 segments are the worst ones, except in this one, they don't get better.
And I mean, Twilight Zone has some reasons why the first one is really bad. Murder.
Yeah.
And sorry. Oh, it would have been manslaughter.
Yeah, it would have been great if they'd captured that last scene. Yeah.
And the second one, did you know Steven Spielberg had a completely different film that he wanted, Twilight Zone episode. He wanted to do The Monsters Came on Maple Street. I don't have the exact title right.
Yeah, but then he felt it
like,
was
I want to make the worst thing that I've ever done
instead. He
instead.
felt it was too grim in light of those events, so he did a really sappy thing, and apparently he was just barely there. He was on the phone the whole time.
I would say playing his Game Boy, which he did a lot during that. Oh, maybe not that. That's a little early. Playing his Space Invaders machine that he had in his office.
Yeah.
So let's hope that, man, anthology films are never good. Like, even in that, like, wave of, like, ABCs of Death, VHS, like...
I am grateful for individual segments we've had in anthology films, like the Pasolini one from Rogopeg, the Scorsese one from New York Stories, and I think what we need to do is we need to take all the good ones and put them together in a new anthology
And can we get Tim Roth back?
Yeah.
Ted the Bellboy once again, and he's linking them together. They're all in different rooms.
We can CGI him with Orson Welles and Jesus, and 4 rooms, more like 4 stars.
Hey, Roger Ebert's in the room. What did he give this? Did you look it up?
I don't need to look it up. I know what he gave it. He gave the first segment 1 star, second segment 1.5, third segment 3.5.
Okay.
Fourth segment 2.
You know what? That's very generous of him.
Yeah.
But what about Siskel? What did he give it?
Sight unseen, I'm gonna say thumbs down. If he gave it thumbs up, I think I would know.
All right. Speaking of Ebert, we should talk about what's going to be happening in the next week.
Oh, we're going to the Palm Springs International Film Festival.
Because we were very generously invited to be on a jury, and this episode's going out the day we're recording it. So if there's stuff in Palm Springs that we can't miss.
Yeah, are there any film sites?
Yeah.
Like just interesting sites of historical interest? And actually, not even just film sites, just stuff.
And
what's good?
We may be escaping for one day to LA. Is there anything? We have a list of stuff that we want to do, but is there something even during that week that that's happening? Because we're not tuned into any of that stuff. And it needs basically to be specifically one day that we have free.
That's right.
But if it happens on this mysterious day, perhaps. Now, will we visit famous people's graves? Of course we will.
Yeah, hoping to see Shemp Howard's grave. So if anyone wants to
no, don't stake
camp
it out.
out for the next month in the off chance,
and we may not make it.
We may not make it.
Yeah, we may be going to shed. So I bring up Ebert because he famously went to the Cannes Film Festival, and that's like us going to Palm Springs.
Right. Who will be our Henry Jaglom?
Oh, waving us into the screening. It'll be like Guillermo del Toro, like Justin Frankenstein.
Do you know Henry Jaglom died recently?
He did?
Yeah, like in the last 4 months.
Oh, I feel like it came up on the
Sorry,
Discord.
so many people have died that it's easy to lose track.
Henry Jaglom, some would say.
You're struggling because you don't have anything nice to say about his films.
You know what? Is that an episode 500? Henry Jaglom?
Episode 500. Let's go.
No, that's not happening.
Are we going to watch every Henry Jaglom film?
No, that's not happening.
Including the Corey Feldman ones from the 2000s.
No one listening to this, 10% know who Henry Jaglom is, who is basically a guy that was on the outskirts of the Hollywood New Wave. Yeah. Well, you know what? He wasn't even on the outskirts. He was involved with it. Never made a movie good enough that people loved. Did not stop making movies.
Yeah.
Was always
Which I respect.
I really respect that.
Yeah.
Me and Will, every 4 years, we'll see someone has donated their entire Henry Jaglom DVD collection to a used DVD store because they all have the same hideous covers and you can spot them on site. You know what? Here's our goal when we go to LA. Can we find a Henry Jaglom film used on DVD? That would be the ultimate LA experience.
Some people go to David Lynch's house. Other people, they follow the Henry Jaglom sites.
And next week, best of 2025.
That's right.
We're always the last ones to do it on planet Earth, so we're getting in there.
Do we have any letters? Do we want to do letters? What do you think?
Yeah, we could do a couple letters, pad this thing out.
Yeah.
I know people are
We've recorded a lot, right? Haven't we?
Oh, no, we've only recorded 15 minutes, Will.
No!
We're just getting started. All right. Segment 1, Allison Anders. So our first letter is from Jabril, and he mentions, hey guys, Will, I know you've mentioned being a baseball fan in the past, and was wondering if, Will, I'm #1 baseball fan.
Justin's the baseball guy.
And was wondering if you'd seen the baseball-centered films of comedian Joe E. Brown from the 30s. Have you, Will?
Well, I'm glad you asked. No, I haven't. I've seen a small handful of Joey Brown films. I've seen Broad-Minded, which I saw because it co-stars Bela Lugosi. Of course, I've seen certain of the Joey Brown films that everyone's seen, like Some Like It Hot, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Those don't count. Joey Brown, do you know who Joey Brown is?
No, I have no idea.
Well, in the last scene of Some Like It Hot, he's the guy. It's like, I'm a man. Nobody's perfect. He's that guy.
The #1 funniest movie of all time.
According to the AFI, that's right. He's got a big mouth. That was
Hey, if anybody works at the AFI, considering we'll be, around the area, we can come out, do a talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Synopsium?
Symposium.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Synopsium. I like that.
I just made a new word. That's, you know what? It's language changes. Boom, that's
right.
the word now.
Yeah, I would love to know more about Joey Brown. I'm always looking for new old guys to fall in love with.
Joey Brown episode. The fact that he made baseball comedies gets me very excited.
The thing about Joey Brown is in the early 30s, he was like a massive, massive comedy star. He was bigger than the Marx Brothers.
Really?
He was huge. And I don't think he's got 5 fans today in the whole world.
Well, you know what? Maybe he's going to make 2
number
more.
6 and 7. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that suggestion. We will definitely check it out. Our next letter is from Gabriel, and Key asks, so I also want to say we got so many great emails from people being like, for Nothing But Laughs November next year, here are these comedians you should do that I have never heard of.
I can't wait.
Love it. So that's all in our back pocket. But here are a few anecdotes that he wanted to briefly comment. He says, Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer movie used to be on Brazilian TVs very often, and much like our fellow Germans, the dubbing is really important for the affection we have to this after-school TV content. Like tokusatsu shows along lines of Jaspion and Kamen Rider Black, I think there's a consensus among Brazilians that our dubbing, alongside our public health service and beaches, is the best in the world. I have never heard that. That's interesting.
I believe it. I like it. Actually, Jerry Lewis was another guy, speaking of him, where it's like in France, they had a particular guy who dubbed Jerry's voice.
Oh,
And
really?
If any of our French...
You know what? I've never heard this Jerry Lewis dubbed in French. I need to check this out.
If any of our French listeners can back this up, write in. I think it was a Quebecois accent that he had.
Oh, is that what he did? Like, that was the joke?
May have contributed to some of
interesting.
his fame in France. I don't know. Write in if you're French.
And so this letter continues. We hardly watched dubbed versions of movies, somewhat ironically, like I feel Americans do with old foreign films, like martial arts and Italian horse style.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That, like, it's not on that level of, like, it feels jokey. Letter writer has a second point. I would really like to hear an episode on the Lucky Star series, going beyond the Sammo Hung trilogy, which are the ones I saw but didn't love. Oh, boy. Beyond the ones that Sammo Hung is in?
Or Jackie.
Yeah. What are the Lucky Star films, Will?
The Lucky Stars are a series of Hong Kong comedies from the 1980s and 90s. The Lucky Stars were a kind of supergroup of popular Hong Kong comedians. You had Sammo, you had Eric Sang, you had Richard Eng. 3 of them are well known around the world. Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, My Lucky Stars, and Winners and Sinners. They're well known because Jackie Chan is in them. He's a kind of guest role.
And when they were brought to North America, they were like, starring Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
and you watch a movie, you're like, where's Jackie? Where's Jackie?
But really, they are vehicles
For a group of sexual assaulters.
Well, that's all of the comedy. All of the comedy is, there's a woman who has to live with the Lucky Stars, and whoops, they're always trying to spy on her in the shower, that sort of thing. I think a little of those movies goes a long way, frankly. Although one of them, which one is it? Is it Winners and Sinners? There's one that's really funny where Richard Eng thinks he's invisible.
Yes.
And so he's naked around the house. That makes me laugh just when I think about it.
I mean, I think second tier in Hong Kong, people think they're invisible comedy. Number 1 being A Chinese Odyssey, where Stephen Chow's dick gets lit on fire.
Oh, good stuff.
So
I would love to do a Lucky Stars episode.
We would say that, like, the Hoy brothers, when I'm talking about Hong Kong comedy, that's number 1.
You're right.
Because that's one that really doesn't get talked about in North American circles.
I mean, the Hoy brothers were massive. I mean, the year that Enter the Dragon came out, it was trounced at the box office by House of 72 Tenants, which I think was their kind of breakthrough film, was it not? And then, of course, The Private Eyes. I don't think I've really seen much of the Hoy brothers.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Because the films don't really... You've seen, like, odd action films they co-star in,
yeah.
for example, more than the films that really made them popular, because they were like Cantonese comedies.
And Michael Hoy's had a bit of a comeback lately. He was in a movie called, I believe, The Last Dance in 2024 that became like the biggest movie of all time.
Did he play like someone was dementia or something like that?
It was a drama.
Yeah.
He's also in the Donnie Yen film, The Prosecutor. So Michael Hoy's back.
And this letter writer also recommends the Brazilian comedy team, and I'm only bringing this up because the name is going to make Will go, They're called Os Trampolho. Oh, I can't say this. Os Trampolhos, usually translated as the Tramps. Are they a bunch of Charlie Chaplins?
I hope so.
In which case, Will would get excited. I'm adding these to lists, but when Nothing But Last November comes back around next time, you're going to have to send them all back to me because I'm going to be like,
Yeah.
Because I'm adding these to like Letterboxd, and then I'll see it 3 months from now and be like, why did I add this movie? That's something
Can you
Letterboxd.
start a Word doc or something, or a Google Doc?
Letterboxd, I've been saying you to do this for like 10 years. When we add stuff to our watch list, let us add a note why it's added.
Yes.
That makes a huge difference.
I agree.
There's movies that are, sometimes it's obvious. Like, I'm like, why is this 90s noir? Oh, it's directed by Keone Waxman. It's one of his earlier films. That's why I added to this. The director of all the late period Steven Seagal films.
No kidding.
But like some of the comedy stuff, sometimes I'll remove it because I will not remember. But I'm starting a Word doc. I'm adding all of these. So thank you very much. This week on our Patreon, it's the end of the year. It's time to go out big. I brought a topic that I think we should go on with a little bit of positivity. And that means we're talking about Kevin Smith.
Oh, not again. Not again.
But, you goddamn liar, Will. When I said Kevin Smith, I could feel the smile on your face. You were like, yeah.
I just said not again with a huge grin.
And so my pitch is, we may rag on Kevin Smith 98% of the time. What if we did an episode? Will it be completely rag-free? No, that's impossible. You cannot do that when you talk about Kevin Smith in this day and age. But I want to talk about what we like about Kevin Smith, the good that we think Kevin Smith has done.
That's right.
So I made a list. Now, are some of the entries, I was reading it to Will, and he's like, well, is that an ironic like, or is it not? To find out, you'll have to listen to the episode.
The thing is, this is, I think, our favorite topic. So
we return to it.
Do we make obsessively.
Do we make it like New Year's episode? Kevin Smith is back. And that's not limiting us that we can't bring Kevin Smith up throughout. And I think that this episode, people are like, why are you talking about Kevin Smith? Why does Kevin Smith talk about it? I want this episode to be the skeleton key to that love and why we keep coming back to it again and again and again.
Okay. And somebody in our Discord, I want you to edit together all of our Kevin Smith content in one long...
So we have never famously done a mainline Kevin Smith episode of the show. It's all locked behind Patreon content. So don't do that. You know what? Maybe I'll do it at some point when Kevin Smith 50 years from now,
100 years from now,
yeah, passes away.
Yeah.
That's when we can release the mega all Kevin Smith episode. You can hear us go slowly insane as we do it. So that's what's on the Patreon, the things we like about Kevin Smith. And next week again, best of 2025.
Can't wait.
Until then, I'm Justin Decloux.
I'm Will Sloan.
Thanks for listening.
So you were telling me that you saw Avatar.
I did see Avatar 3 Fire and Ash.
Yeah, and you didn't like it.
No, I did not like it.
Why not?
Will has not seen Avatar 3.
No.
Fire and Ash. And you know what? That you liked Way of Water.
I liked it enough.
Yeah, I looked. I gave it 3 stars. Very generous.
The thing about James Cameron is, like, he is really good at action scenes. He's good at, like, the basics of story.
I would argue the action scenes in Avatar 3 are stinky. They're bad.
Okay. And the other thing is, like, you know, for IMAX 3D, there's nobody doing it better. You disagree now?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it in high frame rate IMAX 3D.
Okay.
The way it was meant to be seen. And I went in willing. I'm like, James, impress me. Avatar comes out.
Jimbo.
Yeah, I'm like, Jim, you're not
The
out
Big
like you sign your emails. Remember when it came out that he signs his emails and letters, Jim out? I want to be Jim in.
That's awesome.
I want to be in with you.
He's so cool. I think he's so cool. You remember when there was that what was that submarine company, that horrible submarine company?
Oh yeah, and they kept bringing him up where there was the explosion. Implosion.
When he was being interviewed on the news for that,
He's like, they're idiots.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, those of us in the deep sea diving community knew that these guys were trouble. It's like, you're in the deep sea diving community, you rock.
Here's the thing about Jim Cameron. He also sucks.
As a guy?
I don't want to speak to that. Mostly as taste now.
Oh, well, whenever he's talking about, you know,
transfers, movie transfers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like his 4K restoration stuff.
And I think that maybe his visual sense or what he likes now has evolved past my simple minds and what it understands.
I guess, but here's the other thing I like about him. I like his relentless confidence in himself.
Huge confidence.
I like his, you know, every time a new Avatar movie comes out, and if I had to hear this guy on a podcast every week, I'd probably hate him.
Yes.
But every 3 or 4 years, or every 10 years, as the case may be, when he's out and he's like, man, the studio didn't want to make another Avatar movie. I said, what about making another $2 billion sounds bad to you? I'm like,
this guy rules.
Dude.
He's very funny.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the story that he and Chris Elliott were best friends?
Wow.
Yeah, because Chris Elliott was in The Abyss, and James Cameron was like, Chris Elliott's going to be in every single one of the movies that I make from now on.
Right.
And then
I forgot he was in The Abyss.
on David Letterman, Chris Elliott made fun of him before he went on to be interviewed. And
Cut him off.
James Cameron's like, you're done. I'm never speaking to you again.
Well, then he probably saw Cabin Boy, though, and was like, this is what Titanic should have been. You know?
Just tears streaming down his face.
Yeah.
James Cameron, I think that also something that makes me bounce off is that broism around him being like, he's the coolest guy.
Oh, I hear
and
you.
that came out after Avatar 2.
Yeah.
Where people were like, I'm rapturous. I just saw Avatar 2. I'm like, literally, I can't remove my pants because they're so soaked in jizz.
Yeah, I mean, my family had to pull me off like a balcony because I was experiencing Pandora.
Pandora
syndrome, you know?
So I remember going, like, Avatar 1, I remember seeing in theaters and I was like, that was fine. And then I saw Avatar 2 and I'm like, yeah, that was good. That's fine.
Well, when I saw the first Avatar in 2009, it was, and I've not seen it since. When I saw it then...
Didn't we watch it for an episode? I feel like we did. Or maybe you skipped out on that one.
That can't be true.
Okay.
But when I saw it in 2009, I thought it was boring.
Yeah.
And then when Way of Water came out, I thought it was pretty fun. And I attribute that mostly to the decline of popular entertainment, where it's like after 15 years of blockbusters getting worse, it's like, oh, this guy knows how to use 3D.
You know what? I'll say this, Avatar 2, it's individualistic. He's doing his own thing. Love all that. Don't like looking at those blue people.
Yeah.
Not engaged by the story. Here's the problem with Avatar 3. Nothing new is introduced.
Yeah.
It's all the same stuff. There's some sky people. That's it. The Fire and Ash people, they're a footnote. Doesn't matter. We never really spend too much time in there. It's tough talking to someone who hasn't seen the movie. Maybe you'll, like some people I know, listen to me and go, yeah, you know what, Justin, he's right. Go see it and be like, I loved it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would rather people go out into the world, big smile on their face. They're leaving Avatar 3. They're like, Justin was wrong. I love being in Pandora. I love seeing these blue people. I love seeing the same climax where it's whales blowing up ships. Now there's more whales. Hey, you remember that fisherman who got his arm ripped off? He's back and he's fighting the whales again.
Can I ask, is there a scene where like a ship is sinking and people are in like a room in the ship and the water is rising and they're trying, because that's in every James Cameron movie.
Does that happen in this movie? Yes, it does. Okay. It happens at the end of the movie because the ships are being knocked
this man knows what works.
And you know what? There's even a scene where James Cameron is like, even in the future, people won't get off their damn cell phones.
I would love to see him make something else, you know, and he's getting old, so he better hurry.
You know what? James Cameron, at the end of the day, I always got Terminator 2, part of True Lies.
All
Titanic.
Of True Lies. All of True Lies, baby.
You remember who
individual moments in the abyss?
Do you remember who the terrorist organization is in True Lies? Palestinians.
They are.
Yes.
I just remember them being brown.
Yes, they're the Palestinians.
Yeah, well.
James Cameron, cool guy.
Yeah, what can you say?